Hey guys, and welcome to lawcareers.net's YouTube channel. My name is Shonte for those that don't know. But I just wanted to talk about some work experience that I did, how I got it, and basically what I did on my work experience. So if you want to know about my work experience, please continue to watch. Don't forget to subscribe to lawcareers.net's YouTube channel. Give this video a nice big thumbs up, of course, if you like it. So during the Easter half term, I did some work experience and I did it at a high street firm. They do quite a variety of work. So they do wills and probate, employment, property, litigation. They do that. So more commercial work, really. So how I got the work experience, I went into the office. Now this isn't the first time I've been into their office. This would be the third time I'll be going into their office. So the first time I went into their office, I asked if they had any work experience and they said no. Went in again and they said no. And then the third time I went into the office, and each time I'm speaking to the reception lady and she said no. However, this time the reception lady gave me a partner's card and she's like, there's no work experience at the moment, but give the partner an email. So I emailed the partner and I was like, hi, I'm a final year undergrad, currently studying law, and I'm looking for some work experience. So in the email, I did attach my CV. Don't know if that helped. I don't know if that helped in any way, but they did have my CV. The partner actually got back to me really quickly on the same day and he was like, we'll be happy to offer you some work experience. That's how I got it. So I didn't get it through no connections, no one put me on, didn't know anyone in the office. I literally walked into a high street firm and asked them if they had work experience. Do not be afraid to actually walk into a firm or email a firm and just ask them if they have work experience. So about my week. My first task of the day was from a partner in the wills and probate team. I was given 2 boxes of documents from a client who had recently passed away, and I was told I had to sort through the documents and put the most recent documents in a leave large folder. So when I say 2 boxes, I mean 2 massive boxes of documents. Everything was kind of already in date order, so I just had to put everything like in leave large folder for the partner of like the most recent like bank statements, the most recent share certificates, things like that. So it wasn't hard at all, really easy. Obviously you may be watching this and thinking, okay, that's really boring, but I feel like you just need to make the most of each situation. So I didn't find it boring at all because I was going through some pretty interesting documents. I was going through share certificates dated way back. I was seeing companies' names before they've actually changed their names. I was seeing a original land registry document, like it was like A3 paper, original. I was seeing documents dated back to 1964. I wasn't even alive then. It was pretty crazy just to see these documents and actually to like think this client had kept every single document. My next task was from the litigation team, civil litigation. I was sent an email of our side's directions and the opposing side's directions, and I was basically told to go through it and look at the differences. So like for example in like time limits, expert reports, things like that. And I kind of just had to create a table of the differences. So when I was going through the like the documents, there was like major differences in like time limits. That was civil litigation. My next task was to do with property. I had to draft a letter to a client. The second day I was tasked with the property department had a client. He had to prove he was living that address between a certain time period. He had sent in loads of documents to prove that he was living at that address. For example, bills, HMRC letters. Kind of had to go through the documents again, putting them in a table format to make it easier for the solicitors. My next task was from the civil litigation, and I basically had to photocopy documents to be sent to the defendants. So there were 6 defendants in total. I'm sure I was at the photocopier for about an hour. I'm not joking. The documents, there were so many documents. I was like, honestly guys, like that much of documents that I just had to go through like 6 times. So I had a photocopier for about an hour. Just to put it into context, the printer ran out of paper twice. So it was a lot of documents, but it was interesting. I just didn't stand there staring into space. I read the documents. Also had to do some legal research into serving notice on one of the defendants. Basically, we didn't know where the defendant lived, where his last previous address was. Like, we didn't know nothing. We only had his name. We didn't have a job. We didn't have a school, like nothing. We just had his name, which it's kind of nothing to go on. So when you're serving notice on a defendant, basically saying that you've been brought to court or however it works, there are rules and very strict rules that you have got to follow. I then basically had to call the defense side and speak to a paralegal about account details. I made so many small mistakes that, like, looking back, I was like, why did you make so many small mistakes? By the way, I am someone where I will tell you my mistakes I made. I feel like everyone's human, we all make mistakes. I'm not going to tell you that I didn't make mistakes, I didn't do anything wrong, I didn't get sent back so many documents like 100 times. I will tell you that I made so many mistakes, and I feel like you should not be afraid to like own your mistakes. Just make sure you learn from your mistakes and you're not making the same mistake repeatedly. My next task, this one was pretty interesting because it was employment law, and I chose employment law as one of my electives in my final year, and I got to look at a settlement agreement. I have never seen a settlement agreement in my life until I did my work experience, and I was like, oh, this is what a settlement agreement looks like. You know, you hear about them, like you hear about them in the news, and how they're kind of being used to cover up like sexual offences and things like that. So pretty interesting to actually read through the settlement agreement and just see like the amount and what they can do, what they can say, who will be liable, who they can tell. So I had to draft an employment letter to employees, a employee certificate, and I had to draft the firm's invoice. That was basically my time at the firm and what I done. One thing I will say is that I had to look for the tasks that I was given. I was looking for work every day. I was like, can I help with anything? Can I do this? Can I do that? I was even down to the receptionist, because she was a receptionist / legal assistant. So I was like, is there anything you would like me to do? And I just made sure that I had that I was willingly going and looking for work. And I think that's important. There were times when people were like, I don't have any work for you, and I just went to the next person. I just went up a floor and I just went to the next person. I'm not doing like a whole 9 to 5 to just sit there and stare into space. I actually want to learn. So I think if you want to do some work experience, just bear in mind that they may not have work for you, but you have to go out and willingly look. I hope it gave a little bit of insight into a high street firm, but like the commercial side of things. Yeah. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it wasn't too long. Like I said, make sure to subscribe to lawcareer.net's YouTube channel, and hopefully I will see you in another video. Bye.